Hi, I'm Michael Newrock, and this is a trend trade conservative buy example on the 1 hour time frame. This is the example that we're looking at here. It's a conservative trend trade. The overall direction is up with at least 4 of the 6 high time frames pointing up. Trend follower has turned green. We've got the yellow moving average crossing over the slow moving average. I'll just place a marker here for the actual trade, the alert of the signal. Price is above the yellow moving average. RSI is above the 50 line. The Trend Profiteer MACD histogram is above the 0 line. It's green and it's above the signal line, which is what we need to see for a conservative trend trade. And finally, the white stochastic line is over the blue stochastic line. So all the rules are in place for a valid trend trade conservative buy. We'd place the stop just below the gray moving average. So say at least 50. I'd probably be inclined to place it a little lower, say 55, but around 50 to 55. And we would hit target 1 here at 50 pips, giving it a 1-to-1 reward to risk ratio. 100 pips here for 2-to-1 reward to risk ratio, and here at 150 pips for a 3-to-1 reward to risk ratio. So for the 50 pips that we risked, we generated 150 pips in this trade. Now, we may have been able to survive this correction here, but if not, there was another trend trade that occurred here. And if we just bring it over a bit, we can see if you caught this trade as well, you would catch then potentially another 200 pips. Alrighty, so that concludes this lesson on the trend trade conservative buy. Until next time, good trading, live well, and I'll see you soon. Hi, I'm Michael Newrock, and this is a trend trade conservative sell trade example on the 1 hour time frame. Of course, you can use Trend Profiteer on all time frames. This is the example that we're looking at, the bar that created the signal. Of course, the Trend Profiteer displays it on the opening of the new bar after that bar has closed and confirmed the trade. So first of all, we need to have a overall trend direction of down. To do that, we need to have at least 4 out of the 6 of these higher time frames pointing down. In this case, we do. So that's good. Trend follower needs to be red. The yellow moving average must be below the gray moving average. The RSI must be below the 50 line. The MACD must be below the 0 line. It must be red, and it must be below the signal line, which it is in this case. Only just, but nevertheless. And the white stochastic line must be below the blue stochastic line. In this case, they all are valid. And let's have a look. For our stop, we place it above the slow moving average. In this case, it's only about 10 pips above, so I would typically place it, well, at least 20 pips, but possibly more. So say at 20 pips, or let's just make it 30 pips. It's always good to give the trade a little bit of room to move, and that's just being really conservative for any possible spikes. It didn't really happen in this case. Consolidated for a little bit and then just dropped like a stone. But 30 pips for our target would be here, giving us a 1-to-1 reward to risk ratio. 60 pips here for a 2-to-1 reward to risk ratio, and 90 pips here for a 3-to-1 reward to risk ratio. Reached as far as 100 pips. If you had gone in for only 20 pips on your stop, that would give you a 5-to-1 reward to risk ratio. We had a bit of a consolidation here, and then another conservative trend trade following that consolidation period, which took us down another 60-70 pips. So that concludes the trend trade conservative sell example on the 1 hour time frame. Till next time, good trading, live well, and I'll see you soon. Hi, I'm Michael Newrock, and this is the swing within a trend conservative buy trade example for the 1 hour or on the 1 hour time frame. Um, there's three examples here of conservative trend trades, but I'm going to focus on this one because it's a bit clearer to see. If you had taken this one, just real quickly, we would have been able to generate, or you would have been able to generate around 195 pips at the maximum for a risk of only about 25 to 30 pips tops. Never went against the position, but say if you had 30 pips and about 195, that's over a 6-to-1 reward to risk ratio. Anyway, I'm going to focus on this one here. This is a swing within a trend conservative. Now, there are a couple of differences from the aggressive trade, just a couple more filters. But essentially, we need to have an overall trend direction of up, which we do in this case. 4 or more of the high time frame indicators out of the 6 will give us an upward only direction. We need to have the trend follower green, the yellow moving average above the gray moving average, the price above the yellow moving average, RSI above the 50 line. The MACD must be preceded by at least 2 red consecutive histogram bars and then be a green bar above the 0 line and above the signal line. So with this one here and this one here, you can't quite see it as well, but Trend Profiteer is displaying them as conservative swing within trend trades because technically they are. If you hover over here, you'll see the actual values are in fact above the signal line. So this one's a little bit clearer to see. And if you had placed your stops on this trade, you'd place it under your gray moving average, the slow moving average, say to around 45 pips, so let's give it a little bit extra room, and we would have achieved a 1-to-1 reward to risk ratio here pretty soon after entry. 90 pips would give us a 2-to-1 reward to risk ratio here, and it went on a little bit more, about 25 pips beyond that. So that concludes this example for swing within a trend conservative buy trade on the 1 hour time frame. Till next time, good trading, live well, and I'll see you soon. Hi, I'm Michael Newrock, and this is a swing within a trend conservative sell trade example. We're on the 1 hour time frame, and we've got two examples here. I want to go over this one, it's the most clearest. So I'll just put my markers on the chart. Okay, so this is the signal bar that created a signal. Of course, Trend Profiteer displays it on the opening of the following bar. So first of all, we need to have an overall trend direction of down, which it is in this case. 4 out of the 6 high time frame indicators are pointing down, and that's what you need, at least 4 or more to have an overall trend direction of down. The trend follower must be red, the yellow moving average must be below the gray moving average, the price must be below the yellow moving average, the RSI must be below the 50 line. There must be at least 2 consecutive green histogram bars below the 0 line, followed by a red histogram bar that's below the 0 line and below the signal line. And that's all we need to validate for a swing within a trend trade conservative sell. So let's have a look at our stop. Our stop be around 22, 23 pips to the gray moving average. But let's say we placed it a little bit above, which is what I always suggest. 30 pips, say above, well, the entry price. And that would give us a total of 150 pips, actually higher than that, just a bit more, 157. But 150 pips gives us a 5-to-1 reward to risk ratio. So first of all, we would hit our first target here at 30 pips, giving us a 1-to-1 reward to risk ratio. 60 pips here would give us a 2-to-1. 90 pips here would give us a 3-to-1. 120 pips would give us a 4-to-1. And then, of course, 150 pips would give us a 5-to-1 reward to risk ratio. For the 30 pips we risked, in this case, we generated a potential maximum of around 150 pips, giving us a 5-to-1 reward to risk ratio. Now, this is another conservative swing within a trend trade sell. It's not quite as clear, but if you hover over the MACD here, you'll see that it is technically below the signal line, which is what we need to see for a conservative swing within a trend trade. So that concludes this example of a swing within a trend trade conservative sell on the 1 hour time frame. Until next time, good trading, live well, and I'll see you soon.